This goes out to you. This goes out to you.
What's good, y'all? Welcome to Afternoons with me, JoMama. Today, with Paul Brumbaugh as my engineer.
Oh, thank you,
I
dear.
won't forget you. Today my guest is Jennifer Roberts, who goes by Jenny.
Yes, I do. Jenny Roberts. That's me.
All right. So your stage name is just your name.
My stage name is a version of my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good way to put it, because like JoMama is not my name at all.
But it's great. It works for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stands out. People don't know if it's an insult or like.
You could be my mama.
I
like,
know,
Are you
right?
my mommy?
I know.
Are
As
you
it
my
turns out,
mommy?
you are Filipino. You're half Filipino.
I'll take it. As long as are you going to make me like good homemade food and it's going to be way too much?
Oh.
And then you're going to insist that I eat more because that's the only way I know how to express love. I'm half Costa Rican and we also do it.
Oh,
that way, too.
same.
Yeah.
Same
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
you have to.
You have to feed everyone way too much.
Oh my gosh. And then I think it's so that the ants could talk shit about you gaining weight.
Yeah.
I don't know if Costa Rican culture is the same way, but Filipino culture would be like, you look kind of fat. Or if you're looking kind of skinny, they'll be like, you're not eating enough.
Kind of. I don't know, man. It's like that was my mom's culture. So then we would just go back and visit. But it's like, it's weird because like in Spanish, like gordita, gordi, gordo, it's like a term of affection calling someone fat or fatty.
Plumpy, yeah.
Plumpy, but then like, yeah, especially in like a business, in like a work environment with your coworkers, they might be like, "Oh, you have a lot of food on your plate today, Jenny. Wow." It's like,
It's like, oh my God,
okay,
I'm
cool. Yeah. And like the standard of beauty, I think, is definitely tends to be more slender than, especially for like an American visiting Latin America. I was like, oh, okay.
So your upbringing is American, and like Costa Rican is your mom's half. What is your if you don't mind me asking?
No, not at all. He's a Cherokee and Gringo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. So you actually have some kind of Native American. I don't even know if that's the right term anymore.
Heritage.
Yeah.
Indigenous. Yeah.
What is it this week, right?
Oh dear.
Well,
I don't know, but yeah, my grandfather's always going on about like the Great Spirit and shit. I think it was like his grandmother was full Cherokee.
Ooh, here, if you want to share now. It should have gone live.
Yes.
That's
Thank you for reminding me. Yes.
so. Oh yeah, that reminds me too. I should share too. But what I wanted to point out is we had two other guests that I overbooked, and I was yesterday I had a decision when I realized that I had overbooked for this day. Or yeah, it was yesterday. I had a decision. I could stress out about it or let it do its thing. And I decided to just let it do its thing, because I believe that if everybody showed up, we'd be prepared for it. Given what if somebody didn't show up? I was like, oh, well, I'm open to that too. And then look at this. Two people didn't show up, and then here we are with a perfect sitting, and I didn't even have to stress or lose any hair off of it. I kind of ate, but
What do you mean you kind of ate? Like you ate lunch? Please tell me you're eating. Are you eating enough food?
So
Are you eating enough food, JoMama?
there was a time when I wasn't, but I've been having this acupuncture treatment, and what it does is it takes you out of your parasympathetic fight or flight.
Yeah.
And the first time it took me out of fight or flight last Tuesday. I was mad because I was on the bus and I was like, I'm way too relaxed. I'm gonna get robbed.
Isn't that amazing though? When you're like, you finally get to rest and you're like,
my
oh,
God. That's the feeling
ooh.
of bliss. I mean,
Yeah.
like true bliss, not having a care or concern about stupid things.
Acupuncture is great. I see an acupuncturist and it's just great. Yeah.
I think my acupuncturist was interviewed here by Luke one time. I feel like because another host was talking about an acupuncturist at the VA, and I'm like, how many acupuncturists are there? And the guy, I asked him, my acupuncturist guy, I was like, have you done a podcast here? And he's like, honestly, I've done so many.
Honestly, I've been in that studio.
Well,
more times than.
and he's a TikTok influencer. So I actually tried to look him up, but then I thought about it and I was like, I don't want to be awkward. So I'll just look him up after the treatment is all done.
Yeah,
Then I could be like, oh my gosh, that's the guy who treated me.
love it. That's awesome.
So where do
God.
you get acupuncture? Out here?
There's like a really great practitioner a 10-minute walk from my house in Oakland.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you live in Oakland, California, Dr. Kelsey Lowitz is the shit. She is my jam, my jelly,
Oh,
my peanut
shout
butter. She's just
out.
lovely. She's wonderful.
Um, how about you, Paul? Do you get acupuncture?
I have gotten acupuncture and it's awesome. It's just too expensive.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've gotten it once and it actually helped on a few things.
Mhm. Oh, hi. No, take
So-
it. Take it.
So
Take it. Let's take it.
just to let you
Let's
know,
take it.
the only time my phone will ring when I'm in the studio is if it's one of my kids, my wife,
That's fair.
or my parents.
Very
Okay, no,
important.
very
And the
important.
funny thing is, they all should know that I have a podcasting video studio, and they should go and check our pages. That's right. Go check out Edge Studios online on YouTube
My mom.
if you
Do
want to
it.
know if you can call your dad.
I just wish
My
you
mom
had answered it and just handed it to me, and I could just like.
Oh, she was gonna
I,
go.
I
into,
would.
like,
Oh,
I
that
would
would
go
be
for
good.
that.
That would've been
That
good.
would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you a
if
teacher?
somebody called, am I a teacher?
Yeah.
No.
Because that's like I could see a professor or a teacher doing that to a student. Like, I'm just gonna answer for you. Hello.
One of my favorite. I love fucking with people on the phone. That's why.
you
Like, oh my
really?
god, it's so much fun.
Because
If you
the
can do it
anonymity.
with someone's blessing, well, it's the anonymity, and it's also like, how far can I stretch this character until I'm actually believed? I used to like purposely take telemarketers' calls just so that I could pretend to be like, I don't know, like Russian trophy wife trying to
Oh
make
my
anchor
God.
baby, you know, like IRS coming for my savings. What saving? You know, like that.
Nice.
You know, I just
I
would have
love
really
that.
loved the opportunity to fuck with one of your dear family members on air.
See, okay, I'm in this point of my life where I don't want to answer calls because I'm in the middle of a divorce, a lot of credit that got left in debt, or a lot of debt that's debt, and they're trying to call me. So I don't like
Divorce is
answering,
rough, yeah.
right? And since the acupuncture, now I'm starting to handle things because, for one, my finger was broken since St. Patrick's Day, and I finally got it splinted last week. So after acupuncture, I finally put myself in the right mindset where I'm like, I should take care of this broken finger.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be out of fight or flight to take care of the real basic things, or and you would think. But I just
Mhm.
don't want an old raggedy finger because I got to get old with this.
Yeah, and fingers are really important. Like even the ones you think you
Don't need, right?
need,
Yeah.
you kind of do need
Mm-hmm. It throws your balance off too.
Mhm.
So I think for like the few weeks that I was going with a broken finger, I was really injured and I was very unhappy. And I'm pretty sure people around me could feel that.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I'm
Yeah.
miserable because I have a broken pinky.
Well, and like the whole picture, like if you're going through a really hard time, it takes like uncommon levels of grace
Oh
to
my
just
God.
radiate positive energy while your world
Girl, let me
is
tell you.
in tumult, right?
I mean, but okay, so I will do comedy and I will stand up there. Now, when I say, okay, I'll do open mic stand up comedy and I will
Mhm.
tell people what I'm going through. And it's like my lowest point in my life. And I'm here making, I guess, hoping people will laugh at it the same way. But yeah, no, I have to radiate joy because that's the only way I know to do, even though I'm like really sad.
You know what I think though? I think uh the emphasis that you find in some areas of people who like self-identify as having a certain vibrational frequency and
yeah.
like being a certain brand of spiritual, when it's like good vibes only and positivity and just radiate it and find the positive, like you also have to make space for and acknowledge the difficult parts, the like heavy, raw, and fierce emotions too. Because then you're not living in good faith and
Mhm.
you're denying part of your experience.
It doesn't come without work, more or less.
Yeah, yeah. And buried feelings buried alive never die. Like you're gonna have to face those feelings sooner or later.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we were talking about like I'm avoiding alcohol completely only because I think I've been consuming alcohol and I've been avoiding a lot of like depressing things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize I was doing both things at the same time.
Hmm.
Yeah, until like um there was a point where I started to slur and I was like, wow, I'm slurring more than usual and I didn't like that and it just so happened to be whenever I would consume alcohol.
Hmm.
Yeah, and but it was like
Imagine that the alcohol makes you
yeah. So
slur.
and then but I and my timing and all the things that they tell you will happen, delayed response and all that. I didn't like how out of control. But then also another thing is when I what is this? Had the acupuncture, a lot of things changed. Like I feel so much like cleaner living
Mm-hmm.
that I alcohol just feels like more of a poison now.
Yeah, it's. I think for me, that's also been getting older too. Like my
Oh,
liver just can't. After all the hard work I put it through in my 20s and
yeah.
some of my 30s, it's like it's working on halftime now. It's like I'm good. You know,
I hear you.
there's only so much I can do. But I also, at least with comedy, compared to like some of the other creative pursuits I know, like comedy and glass blowing are probably the ones where I'm most like, I need to do this stone cold sober.
Oh,
Like,
really? And
yeah,
glass
yeah,
blowing?
yeah, yeah. I won't like stone cold sober. I
I could
prefer to
understand
like
glass
not
blowing,
even
yes.
being like no cannabis, no alcohol, and then once I've done my thing, like cut loose, cold brew,
Okay.
little puff puff.
See, I'm like a multitasker. I challenge life. I'm like, oh, easy, medium, hard. I want it extra hard.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'll do in the past. I've taken like a good size of mushrooms just for like a macro dose, and at the same time I'll smoke weed. But those go hand in hand, great.
Oh yeah.
But to add on top of that, sometimes I'll have a drink, and I was able to balance all those substances just
Nice.
fine. But it got old, and then
Mm.
I got older, and I want to say a week into doing stuff like that, my body was like, nope, not anymore.
No, thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am. Yeah.
So yeah, that's when I'm like, I should be more healthier, because just because it's mushrooms and weed doesn't mean you should do so much of it.
I used to, before the pandemic, me and my tango buddies, we used to,
Tango.
yeah, I danced Argentine tango. We used to do Molly, shrooms, and LSD, and then stay out and dance tango till like 6 o'clock
Oh
in the
my
morning.
gosh.
Yeah, we called it shooting the moon, and that was glorious. That was beautiful. But I'd
sounds
already been
beautiful.
dancing for so long that like my body kind of had the movements in it. Also, I'm sure I was a sloppy hot mess. Like those nights, I would have heart to heart talks with everyone.
Oh my gosh, that's me.
With my pupils as big as saucers, just like let's talk about God and death. It was yeah.
um there was a time when I was married for 18 years. This is the
Mhm.
divorce I'm going through, and there was a time when my ex-husband used to take me to the clubs, and I'd be inebriated, and I would just talk to everybody, because as a housewife who stayed home and took care of the kids, um I didn't have like that social interaction.
Mhm.
So when I was out there, I was like, so like you said, having
You were
talks with,
so ready for
and
it
but that was
too,
just
I'm
on
sure.
alcohol, not even like additional, maybe
Wow.
weed.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe Ambien.
You wouldn't take would you take Ambien before you go to the club?
Okay, so
That's a boss level shit. Like what the fuck? You would go stay out.
We call it pregame.
But Ambient's supposed to make you go nappy bye-bye, friends. Like you would take that before you go out to a club.
That's right. It's the pre-roofie.
Wow. Meowsers. I've been missing out this whole time. God, the more you know. I'm having the more you know.
I've been
you
trying to get with me
you
for
can
so
pregame on
long.
Ambient. It's the pre-roofie.
well, so this is
Sign
back
me
when
up.
the doctor used to prescribe it to me, and I had been on it for a year, and he was like, you're not supposed to be on this for longer than so many months. And he's like, you've been on this for about almost 2 years, I think he said. He's like, we can't give this to you anymore, which is perfectly fine, because I didn't
Is it
realize.
that addicting? Why don't they want to give it to you for that long?
Because
Oh,
then you do silly things like those
yeah.
people have done.
Because
Oh,
okay,
everybody knows a silly ambient story.
so it's
right?
a temporary fix. It's not meant for a permanent fix. So it's supposed to assist you in getting a good sleep pattern, not to be your sleep pattern, right? But if you're misusing it, like I guess I did.
Well, I mean, like using it or misuse, like you would just
I-
take it. Would you like crush
Well,
it up?
No,
okay,
no, no,
wait,
like,
hold
what
on.
would
What's
you
the
do? No.
hold on? But what's the difference between using it and abusing it if a doctor's prescribing it to you?
Okay, this is the difference. I will explain.
It's in
My
the eye of
ass
the
is supposed to
beholder.
go to bed, but I decided to get dressed and have a sippy sip of some alcohol with my
sippy
husband
sip.
and go outside. So that was the misuse. Is I was supposed to take my ass to bed and go to sleep, but I understood what it did. It kind of amplified my buzz and made everything fun. Oh, but for Molly, I can't take that because
Yeah?
I've been on antidepressants for so long that anything Molly or ecstasy like that, it doesn't hit. Does that make sense? Like
It
I've
doesn't
Yeah.
hit the right receptors the right way.
yeah, so I've never had a genuine experience for all those attempts. But then again, I don't trust my
Your
connection.
That-
body,
you
your
know,
body
that's-
changes, right? And so even
Yeah.
like right now, my Molly is cheddar.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Because
You're
all
like,
the like
wow,
the
dude,
milk, the
let me
milk
just rub this rug
proteins.
for a minute. This feels good. Wait, hold on.
Isn't there
cheddar.
something in like the milk proteins that stimulates the same pathway as opioids?
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah. I think it
Oh.
stimulates dopamine receptors, and like folks who have ADHD also need to eat all the cheese all the time to get that little dopamine hit. I have to say though, Molly, like actual Molly, not just cheddar,
Not just
not just
not
cheddar,
just mozzarella
not
Molly.
not just pecorino romano, just straight to the face. Yeah, no, the like actual Molly, I think is one I'm happy to leave behind in the past.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay. You
because it
figured it
makes
was like
you
a
feel
Trident
you
and-
like you love on everyone in the moment, and then you're so cracked out the next day you feel like ass.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I can't do that anymore.
like when you feel that regret and you recognize that regret,
Mhm.
and it's a regret enough to not do it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had our fun, but we're done.
Sounds like a mission statement for comedy.
Oh God.
When you've done it, you wake up the next day and you're like, oh, I can't believe what I did yesterday.
why did I do that?
That was horrible.
Why, Lord?
Never again.
Never
My
You're
again.
the next comedian to the stage.
Yeah.
My biggest thing was I didn't realize how drunk I was until the next morning. I will never know because that night I'll always feel like I'm fine, and I've learned that my drunk self lies because my drunk self is like, "You're good, you're perfectly fine."
You're good. You're great.
And then I wake
You're
up the
doing
next day and I'm like,
great.
why do I feel like crap? And I'm throwing up and I'm like, I drank way too much. She lied. She lied.
Puking is no fun.
No, it's not
It's
at this
awful.
age.
Takes a lot out of you.
Your whole body convulses.
Smells awful. Tastes worse.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
If you don't get it in the right spot, the cleanup is miserable.
do you have any older kids?
I have one kid. She's just turned 3 in February.
Oh,
I
so
know.
precious.
I know, it's just the best. She's awesome.
They've got so much to say, and they are who they are when they get older. They're the same people, right, Paul? I mean, like
Oh, yeah.
the same little people that they were from the little.
That
Oh,
sounds
yeah.
great.
The girl. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, well, so they seem to get the best of us, as in the parents, but then they also pick up some really shitty stuff along the way, but then they also pick up some of our stuff.
I feel like they're all little. Okay, I have 4: 23, 22, 18, and a 5-year-old. And I feel like they're all just little versions of me.
That's
But they're all
lovely.
little different versions.
Yeah, definitely. Like my son is the version that when I first entered the military and I didn't know what I was doing. So he's like he's like anxious about a lot of things. And then my stepdaughter, she just loves on me because we had all that time together. My 18-year-old, most version of me, and my toddler is like uber version of me.
Yeah, isn't that kind of unique? That's neat. What about your daughter? Right? I'm sorry.
Yeah, my daughter. She's just great. So much fun.
What's the
feel
kind
like-
of personality that you're seeing with her?
I'm seeing someone who has both like high need for personal autonomy, but also really cares about other people and has an immense capacity for language and pretend play. She's super smart. She's doing like 100-piece puzzles that are like
At
age
3
range,
years
yeah,
old.
6 to 7. She's bilingual, Spanish, English. I'm trying to raise her bilingually.
Okay.
So it's yeah, it's just a lot of fun, and she's a total cuddle bug and a free spirit, and she's sweet and fun. Um, I'm having a blast.
That's great.
She got a lot of my like, I would say like she got my independence, my free spirit, my like language facility. She got the puzzle thing from her dad, and the like lovey-dovey like cuddle bug energy is both of us.
Okay, so the Spanish that you're teaching her, is it the Spanish you learned from your mother?
Nah, it's so
Okay. I know it's a crazy question to ask because like uh, the thing is like my kids want to learn Tagalog, but I didn't learn Tagalog. I learned Ilonggo from my mom. Like that's what I understood from her
Mhm.
best is a dialect.
Mhm.
So that's why I was curious like if
Yeah.
you're going to teach what do you
Well, I mean, like my journey as a Spanish speaker has been kind of atypical because I grew up bilingual,
Mhm.
but believing that it was a secret language that I shared with my mom because my dad
Oh.
was like not okay with it. Back in the day, they thought that if you taught your kid another language, they would have an accent, or that was his
Oh,
perception
yeah,
at least.
I get it.
So we would speak in Spanish at home and then switch to English when he came home from work. And then my abuelita, my grandma, came to the US to help my mom when she was like massively pregnant with my younger brother. And I heard her speaking Spanish, our secret language, and I was like mortally offended and just refused to speak. And I lost so much. Then I kind of like regained it as I grew older. But learning a language and only speaking it at home with your mom or a little bit at school, it's like very different than total immersion.
Yeah, I get it. It's
Yeah.
almost kind of it's almost like a traumatic experience because this is something that was like so intimate, and all of a sudden you found out that like your grandma was talking, and like it,
Yeah.
for whatever reason it just upset you, and like you felt violent, like you
Oh,
betrayed.
yeah. Like
Oh
as a
wow.
little child, like being like offended to my core by a perceived betrayal. Yeah. Um, because I had no idea that this is a language spoken by millions and millions of people, and it's not our secret language, but that's what I thought. And so then like as an adult, I like in college I lived in Madrid for a little
Mhm.
bit, and then after grad school I lived in Argentina for like 4 years. So I would say like people here hear my Spanish and it sounds like Argentine Spanish to them.
Okay.
But then in Argentina they hear my Spanish and they think it sounds American and like Caribbean, Costa Rican influence. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm teaching my daughter the Spanish that I know as I pronounce it,
that works.
and it's still better than nothing. It's
That is
whatever.
true.
I feel like I forget the name of the dialect you said that you learned.
Ilongo.
Ilongo. Yeah, like that's
Uh-huh.
still better than nothing. And if it's a
Yeah.
dialect of Tagalog, then it should be similar enough they could make the switch
Well,
and like teach themselves if they want, right?
even though I can't speak it, I can understand it because
Mm.
I've been around it long enough to understand it that and when they're talking mess about you, I'm just like,
You're like, I know what you're saying.
yeah.
I can't fight back, but I know what you're saying.
But also, if I
Yeah.
didn't understand what they were saying, I could read body language. You're clearly talking about me, and it's not nice.
It's the tone of voice when they're looking at you and they're like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, and what's worse is they'll misidentify my culture and they won't even think I'm Filipino. I'm just like, oh gosh, I'm like hated on by other Filipinos because they're just like, you're not Filipino enough.
Well, what do you mean? Because
Well, one, I don't look like I'm Filipino, so they'll talk mess about me as though I'm a different culture, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, I understand exactly what you're saying,
yeah,
but I don't mind it. I love when people are just people. I'm happy
Mm.
with that because if not for people being people, then I couldn't be who I want to be.
Mhm.
You know. So wait, I wanted to touch back on this. You said you have degrees. What's your degrees in? I'm so curious.
Oh my
Go,
God.
go.
Oh dear. Okay, so let's see. Graduated Santa Clara University, philosophy, Latin and Greek.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was a
Philosophy.
lot of fun. So
Mm.
much fun. So much fun. The philosophy department at SU is really good. The classics department too, or at least I don't know what it's like now. Back in the day, I had a lot of fun and I got a great education.
Okay.
and then law degree from Yale Law.
Wow. Okay.
I've also studied
Fucking Yale.
I have like a basic permaculture certification from the Uruguayan Institute of Permaculture,
Damn.
and level 3 WSET diploma with, or like level 3 WSET, not the diploma, the level 3 with merit from the Wine, Spirits, and Education Trust.
Okay. So, are you pursuing?
Oh, and I think I also got Reiki training too.
No, you're. Oh, I'll take that. Excuse me. I need my inhaler, but I never bring it with
Do you
me.
need a lozenge? I have these really great throat lozenges. Would
Yes,
you, Paul, would you be so
please.
kind as to hand me my
Please
purse?
and thank you.
Oh, look. And we
I'll-
have,
I'll take a haul.
these are Paul lozenges. They're
they're balls. You probably have some.
they're plozenges.
What are your?
They're
what are-
plausible lozenges.
I
I mean,
wanna-
Tell me where.
I gotta try
it's-
her lozenges because she's only here once.
Your lozenges are here all the time, but these lozenges.
Thank you. Oh my god, I love how your purse and your nails and your ring.
Oh
man.
dear, that wasn't intentional,
That's
but
such a beautiful
it,
blue.
it happened. Thank you. These
Oh,
these are
fisherman.
you know these, right?
Yeah, the
These will
fisher-
kill any well, they'll suppress any
Thank
cough.
you.
They
They look like wafers.
don't taste like wafers. They taste like a menthol
Thank you.
bomb.
But I'm gonna
But-
leave this right here because thank you.
They
For
they
sure.
will stop any cough
Okay.
for a while. Would you like a fisherman's friend?
Yeah, you
Paul?
know what? I want to try that.
Yeah.
'Cause I've seen those before, and I've never tried one, and I won't try one.
He's
I'm
like-
a fan.
And I use lozenges like hot,
If you
like
insist.
water and tea and.
Oh
hot,
my gosh.
Like
This
before I
the
sleep.
one thing I will say about these,
Oh, that
I-
just looks weird.
It looks
Just
weird,
try
but
it.
okay, get this. It sits perfect on the tip, on the top of your tongue. Between it just sits perfect.
Like a hit of LSD. that
On the
sits
tip
right
of the
oh,
tongue
sorry.
puts-
You know, I
teeth
haven't.
in the
I have never
palate.
tried LSD. Is LSD
really?
the same as acid?
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, I've tried acid once.
No,
and
yeah. Stop.
You've tried LSD.
I
Yeah.
tried acid. It was a bad enough trip that I was like, I'm never doing this again, and that was like high school days.
Yeah, I haven't done it since back in the day. But yeah.
It was a bad decision.
I used to enjoy it back in my like heady days of triple hitters, and then I got pregnant and was stone cold sober for like 2 years, and I tried microdosing it, and I was just like, oh, I can't hang anymore.
Oh
that
yeah,
like
your tolerance.
sobriety,
changed.
the sobriety reset was just like, no, I need to not do this again. We're done.
But the
Yeah.
truth is, you have to be kind to your body, and like if we're constantly taking all these substances, eventually, yeah, you have to reset.
Yeah, but doing drugs is fun and hella cool. Yeah.
So, I have a joke on doing drugs, and I'm like, the only time only time I want people to know I'm on drugs is when they see me doing it, because if I'm performing at a capacity, and yes, I may be high, I don't want to look like I'm high. So,
It's none of their business, because you also don't know if they will, you don't know what meaning they'll attach to
right.
it.
So that's why I could. It's crazy because I could perform at a normal, I guess, person's speed, and I'll be like on so many different levels. But then, yeah, I may start crying for no reason, like, oh my gosh, that touched my heart, and I'm in tears. And then later on, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on mushrooms too.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, but then that stuff dehydrates you.
Mushrooms?
Mushrooms
It
and
makes
alcohol.
me yawn a lot. I
That
look like
doesn't-
I'm like really tired, but I'm not. I find like, especially the onset, I'm just like,
What I know about mushrooms,
I made myself yawn.
it's like your body gets, okay, the first thing that your body needs, that's what'll come up. That's what my cousin has always told me, and I've noticed that when people are on mushrooms, it'll be their most basic need that they need, and that's the one that's going to surface when you're on mushrooms,
Sleep. I need more sleep.
right? So if you're tired, it's going to help you sleep. If you're if you're having trouble retaining a boner, it'll help you retain a boner. I don't know, but I'm saying
Really?
it's, well,
Does it?
LSD?
No,
shrooms.
mushrooms.
Mushroom? No.
No,
Well,
I don't think
neither.
guys, I don't think you can have the sails at full mast.
No,
while you're
Is
in
that
the
right?
falls. No, you can't.
no.
Well, all I know is
There's
that
there's only enough blood flow for like seeing God or operating the dick. You can't.
dude, this is what I remember when my ex
You are correct.
when my ex
Thank you. I feel validated.
You should.
when my ex-husband microdosed with me, I was like instinctively tired because I just needed to sleep, and he was instinctively hard, and I was like, I guess his needs were to have sex, my needs were to go to sleep. And so that's what I thought, like that's how the mushrooms responded, but that was just like our own experience, you know what I mean? He was probably just hard because he wanted to be hard.
Yeah, I was wondering, like that sounds like you wanted to go to sleep and he just wanted to bang. But
It was hitting us differently. That's when I
Yeah.
should have known our marriage was
I mean,
like going
I
awry.
can say it will, like in the right environment, right, like set and setting, it can make you like more in. It makes me sometimes more into like touch and physical
Right.
sensation.
I would say that. It's just that I think, at least
Well, isn't there a
from
strand?
experiences, that the equipment doesn't work as well for a guy.
Isn't there a strand called albino penis envy?
Yes.
And maybe I don't know. Anyways, I'm not even.
It's because the mushrooms look like penises.
Thank
when they
you.
grow up.
Oh,
They
that's
look
why they call it that?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
they
It's
look
not
like
an
dongs.
aphrodisiac.
Big, huge white.
It looks like a massive dong.
Okay, so
dong.
Dong is a great word. It's one of the best words ever. Dong.
what is
da-dong,
that word
dong.
when it looks like a dick?
Dong,
It's but-
phallic.
Phallic. It looking kind.
Phallic symbol.
Yeah, it's looking kind of.
That voice didn't do it for me.
Oh,
though. That just
No,
made-
but that
How
was,
about phallic
that
symbol?
was
that's
very-
a phallic fallacy, if you ask me.
It gave me that church lady kind of vibe. The church ladies on the podcast when they're like talking about the sweaty meatballs.
Oh yeah,
SNL.
sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls.
Sweaty balls.
Sweaty meatballs. It's so
Yeah,
good in my
sweaty
mouth,
balls,
that kind
yeah.
of stuff.
Sweaty
That-
meatballs.
But do you remember that skit? Oh,
No, I have no idea what you're
Okay, well,
talking
hold
about.
on.
I'm
Are you-
sorry.
you're in your-
The sweaty
Are
balls.
you in your late
and it
20s?
was the Christmas thing.
you in your mid 20s.
Thank you.
Where are you?
Thank you.
Where-
Oh my God. Thank you. Are you
I-
just saying that? You're not
No,
just saying that?
I'm serious. Are you in your late
I
20s
can make
or
out
mid?
with you right now. This is the best thing that's happened
Oh,
to me
that's
all
how.
day.
That's she doesn't.
Oh my fucking God, bitch. I'm turning 40 this year.
Oh, yay, high
Thank you so much
five.
for saying that, though.
okay.
Oh, what a blessing.
Okay.
Are you
Yeah,
in your
hell yeah.
mid-20s?
No.
Yes, I am
Okay.
in my mid-20s.
'Cause
I'm in my mid-20s.
I definitely did not guess late 30s.
Oh,
Definitely.
thank
You
you.
have way too much vibrancy. You're way too
Oh.
happy.
Oh, my God. Wow.
And you do make me feel less creepier now. So that's good. So there's that.
That's what I'm,
She
that's
did
what
look
I'm
like-
really
I
here
would-
for.
Right, right.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
oh my gosh.
Wow.
You're your mid 50s?
Higher.
Oh, late 50s.
Yeah.
Okay, he's in his late 50s. I'm in my
Okay.
mid 40s.
Cool.
And I don't know. I guess like I feel like everybody's younger. I've been getting a lot of younger guests, and having to guess ages has been horrible for me but no, really, you have a personality of a much younger person because you're so much more you have such what is this, hope. You have this like
Wow, thank
you're
you.
Energy?
great energy. Yes,
Wow.
yes. Because I feel like I have energy, but then I feel very drained. So I don't feel like I look like as
I mean,
How
I
full did you do?
also, I like conked out last night around
Oh,
like
so you got
10
good
and I
sleep.
actually got a full night's rest last night and I really needed it. I was like I was running on fumes. So that
People-
could be it too.
do not realize that lack of sleep can lead to so much, or not even lack of sleep, but bad sleep.
Yeah.
So if you're sleeping and you're not sleeping in a good position and you're already stressed out, so your body's like not having the opportunity to actually relax.
Yeah. I mean, in my case, speaking of like stopping drinking, I definitely did not stop drinking over the weekend. And on Sunday, I had a bunch of people, not a bunch, I had some folks over in the backyard at our house and I was just like grilling
Oh, that sounds
and
fun,
people,
though.
yeah, I love like Oakland, sunny weather. It's going to get really nice. I just want to be like grilling every weekend. I just need to not get blasted to the moon every weekend because like so I was I was having a little bit of everything and then like Sunday night my liver did the thing where it's like 2 a.m. and it wakes me up and goes, I'm done processing the alcohol, now what? When you like you've had a little bit too much
Uh-huh.
and then you like wake up in the middle of the
Oh, God,
night.
were you throwing up?
No, I didn't throw up. I was kind of hungover the next day, but honestly mostly sleep deprived because it was like that, and then my kid had to wake up around
no, okay.
4:30, and
That's
then
what
she
snaps.
wanted food again at 6. And then I had a hard time going back to sleep too because I was dehydrated from drinking too much fucking alcohol.
And then once you
So,
drink
yeah.
alcohol, you're just rehydrating your drunk.
Yeah.
So kids, their needs,
Kids at home.
Kids at
and
home.
their needs will be a constant. That's for sure. Regardless of how you feel, you have to match your kids' energy as best as you possibly can, especially when they have these really basic needs. But
It was rough too because she had a blast at that party and then she didn't want to go to sleep. And so like I just asked out on the floor of her bedroom, and then my partner comes in maybe like 45 minutes later, and she's like snoring in her rocking chair where she was like, that was her like last stand, last ditch effort. Like, no, I'm not going to go to sleep. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then we like put her into bed. But
when
Yeah.
you said that you had that liver feeling, to me, when I feel like I've drank too much is when my eyes start to look yellow, like jaundice. Like
You get
yes.
jaundice eyes.
Yeah, well, if I consume so much toxins, which I do, at some point my eyes will start to get yellow, and when it starts to yellow, that's when I realize that I should just kind of like take a break.
You got to wonder, like, where does this urge to like ingest
I know,
known
right?
toxins for a specific effect on your consciousness comes from? Like, have you ever seen those videos of animals on the African savannah getting drunk on rotten fruit?
No, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, it's super interesting. Like some researchers, I'm paraphrasing, right?
Oh,
Like
no, yeah.
I'm not an expert, but I recall seeing this video about how these
Ooh, do you want me to
animals.
help you?
You can if you want to. You can help me.
You can.
Can I watch? All right, here we go.
So they like set up nighttime cameras in these areas where these trees dropped a bunch of fruit and it was rotting on the ground. So it was starting to turn, the sugars were starting to ferment into alcohols. And these animals would go at night, they would go gorge on this fruit and then be walking around like this, right? Like, oh, and then the next day, you want to do the other one? Yeah. And then the next day they'd all be like walking around like, right. They were hungover. And it was like warthogs, meerkats, elephants, like everyone.
With no restraint, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's like probably a certain subset of their population that isn't into it, but a lot of them. This is beautiful. No,
Yeah,
this is
okay.
perfect. Oh my
Yay.
God,
Yay,
thank you.
look at that.
I was in the military, so that mattered.
It's gorgeous. It's so nice. It's so neat.
But
Yeah, man. So like we're not the only animals that like to get fucked up.
What was I gonna say?
It's kind of fun to play with the borders of
I
your
forget what I was
consciousness.
watching.
Let's take
It
the edge
wasn't
off.
long ago. It was like raccoons in a trash can, and they were getting
Mhm.
drunk.
So for me, I like I said, like having been married for so long and being like constant mother, like I only got to drink on certain occasions. So once I went through this divorce and separation happened where my younger kids are with their father and I'm my own person, here I am trying to cope through what I'm going through, and my coping mechanism is karaoke and
I love it.
comedy. Thank you.
Nice.
But it's also like I have OCD, so I have an addictive. I overindulge in the things that I love so much that I didn't only just like become a regular at the karaoke joint. I got a job there.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's great. Look, I mean, like, why? That's great. You can get paid to do what you love.
Right. But now, being that it's a place that serves alcohol and I'm starting to encounter issues with my consumption of alcohol, I feel like it's impairing me to a degree that I don't like that impairment. I only like a little impairment, just enough to make it fun. But like when
Yeah.
it's like I'm not catching my words in time, then I feel like I'm having a stroke.
That's terrifying.
Like this is not fun.
No, that doesn't sound like fun. Yeah, well, don't try not to have a stroke anytime soon.
Oh, so
Just, put that on your to-do list.
I went to the emergency
Yeah.
room.
What?
Yeah, well, because as a veteran, I have access to good healthcare, or my VA healthcare, and that it was there that I learned I was really severely dehydrated. They gave me 2 IV bags. Yeah, 2 bags of IV, and they checked my lungs because I've been coughing, and
Mhm.
they're like, everything looks fine because I thought I was walking pneumonia. That's how weak I felt. I was telling Paul like I
But
feel so
what
weak.
was it?
It was my alcohol consumption, and I was just getting really dehydrated.
Oh
So I was
man.
consuming all these substances, but not enough water, and
Yeah.
my body was just like, bitch.
It's like, nope, uncle.
I thought
Yeah.
you were going into a PSA earlier when you started saying, well, kids. And I'm like, oh, no, she's listening because you were talking about alcohol consumption. I was like,
Yeah.
make sure to
at home,
hydrate.
for every
For
every
everybody.
drink, have a glass of water.
and
Or
right.
at least every 2 drinks, have a glass of water.
And that's my big thing is I would drink a pint glass of water, of ice water with every other beer or
Well,
whatever.
you're a
smart.
big ass guy. You have to stay hella hydrated.
Hella hydrated.
Because I like all of that stuff to hydrate. I'm just saying, like,
How-
All that stuff to
How
hydrate.
did you got all that stuff to hydrate? All that
Love
stuff
it.
to hydrate. Well, so how did people do it like 150, 200 years
They
ago? when we
died.
didn't- Yeah.
They died of overconsumption. Isn't that what they called it? Consumption.
Consumption?
Well,
No,
even-
consumption's something different.
Is it
Consumption's
really?
like a fever or something. I don't know.
It's
Consumption
probably-
is kind of a catch-all for things they didn't know what it was.
Oh.
It's kind of like when women
Consumption,
had,
what's your
like, what's the thing for women? They would say, like,
Vaginas.
They
No,
were
I've heard of
consumed
those.
by
I've heard
death.
of
women had those vaginas.
no, I forget what it was, but it wasn't hysteria, but it was basically the vapors. I don't remember what it was, but it was
The
something.
vapors.
The vapors. Oh my lord, Mr. Darcy, I got the vapors.
Is that from the lead that they put in the mascara?
Prejudice, but from the deep south, Mr. Darcy.
Mr. Darcy, I got the vapors.
I mean, if you think about the powder, the talc powder that they were putting on their face, it was all like these chemicals,
Lead
like
makeup,
lead makeup.
lead makeup.
Yep.
I think that's
Lead
right before.
lipstick and
I think that's before Mr. Darcy slung one up her, but that's another story.
so consumption is not just from alcohol consumption. Because when I hear consumption, I'm like, oh, they drank themselves to death.
Consumption was, I think, a catch-all for things that they couldn't really classify, and there was a lot of those things, and it was basically means that the disease consumed your body. So it could
This
be
person
cancer.
died and
it
we
could
don't
be,
know why.
Yo.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know this is like all over the place, but Jenny, you you experimented with like all these experimental drugs before going to college, and then
No,
you
no, no, no.
after
Actually,
college.
in high school, I was a goody two shoes. I thought I would
Okay.
never smoke weed.
Oh,
Yeah. And
Okay.
then, like, in college, I started dating someone who kind of introduced me to the marijuana, and we would go out to
college.
raves.
Jenny, Mary Jane, Jenny.
Exactly. And the first, like, 3 times it didn't work with my brain. It just put me to sleep. And then,
Oh.
like, 3rd or 4th time, I was like,
just kept on
like,
trying.
oh, I see, you know? So did some, like, yeah, that was when I was going out to raves a lot. So I wasn't drinking super hard in college. I was doing like weed, ecstasy, shrooms.
Okay, then
One
that's
time a friend of mine cooked up this auditory hallucinogen. He was studying chem at UC Davis and he cooked up this auditory hallucinogen. And then we went to go see a Western that had, I forget the name of the movie. It was Kate Blanchett and Tommy Lee Jones. And it was fucking fascinating. And
on
like,
that, I bet
everybody sounded like the Borg cube, like "Ruh, ruh, 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 ruh." It was super cool, and you could see all of the muscles in their mouth moving.
Oh, geez.
You
I
know,
remember that. Yeah.
can you imagine the people who aren't prepared for that kind of like what is happening? But you can absorb it without being afraid of like, oh my God, I feel like I'm dying.
The trip. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, but okay. So what I guess I look at a lot of young people who start substance usage at such an early age. Like my kids, I'm like, hey, you want to take it easy because
He's too young. I
Yeah.
don't think I would let my.
Oh,
who
yeah,
knows
no.
how much control I'll actually have over the situation, but I would not feel comfortable letting my child smoke weed before 18.
So telling my kids, I'm like, look, you need to understand. I arrived at a point in my life where, like, when I was in the military, I didn't smoke. I didn't do any of those things because I was in the military. I wanted to keep that security in my life, and so when my kids saw me at an older age, I always had to make it clear, like, I am at this age doing what I do, but if I did what I did at your age, I would have failed. I'm just saying, I wouldn't have arrived to this point.
My brain, my life, and everything else was fully kind of developed at that point. right?
Yes. And I mean, like, I had already served my country and I've gotten my benefits all in order. What I'm saying is, I got my shit straight before I started to, you know,
Before you
Enjoy and
started
relax and
really-
enjoy.
laugh a
Yeah.
little bit.
Yeah. So I think that's the biggest thing that I try to preach to my kids is like, don't think that you could arrive at where I am in my life at your age, because you have to arrive at my age to feel this level.
I mean, at least if you can wait until your like prefrontal cortex is done developing,
25 and
like
up.
wait until your personality fully emerges. I didn't, but that's okay. I turned out all right. But I wasn't like smoking weed at 14,
It's
15.
totally different when you have your own kids and you're trying to mold their minds to be as effective and as, because like there's already deficits. We already have all these deficits. The best we can do is build our brain to be more efficient, right? And when it comes to kids, oh my gosh, we can't, they will tell us what they need, but we have to remember that we are the boss.
Yes.
Because I swear with
I mean, your role is to be a parent.
A parent,
first.
yes.
And a parent before a friend. And you can be their best friend, but they cannot be your best friend.
there you go. Yes, that's very true. Because like the moment,
It's not they're like you're not supposed to rely on them.
I love all my kids. I want to say there's probably a different relationship when my older daughter started stealing my weed.
Oh fuck. How old was she when that happened?
Oh, she was already like past. She graduated high school.
Okay.
But
Whatever.
Here's my thing. I share my weed with her, so she didn't have to steal it.
But also I think it's like
At
so,
what length?
So it's like the transformation of that journey, right? Because like
Yes.
I would love it if when my kid is like
Can I hit
18,
your
19,
stash?
18, 19, 20. No. I would that's an age appropriate range to start say like normalizing responsible alcohol usage,
Oh.
normalizing responsible cannabis usage. I think if it's like legal or legal-ish, for me, hypothetically, I would be okay with that. I would rather my kid like goes to college after a summer vacation in Italy drinking fine wine and like one maybe two glasses with a nice meal, and then she doesn't give a shit about keggers. Right?
That would be ideal, right?
Yeah.
But like the thing with our kids, we can't predict that. I get it though. I have a 23-year-old now who lives with me. He's my roommate because my other kids are back in Texas. So my 23-year-old, for instance, he'll like get weed. He'll get from my stash of weed, which is perfectly fine. But he'll let me know. It's just-
Oh, like
it-
mom.
Yeah, it's like
I
no
borrowed
need to.
I borrowed 2 pre-rolls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool.
But then what happened was my daughter would take it without telling me, and I'm just like, no, you can.
Because then like you're like that leaves you in a lurch. You don't know what's going
Well,
on
and
with
there's
your
two things
stash.
going on there, right? There's not only the drug use, but there's the dishonesty.
there you
factor.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, and then it was times like that. I was like, why did I even allow this in my house? Because I could have just been that strict parent. But I also feel like if they're exposed to it, well, that's what happened. My daughter asked questions about it, so then we talked about it, and that's why it came up, because she was asking questions, and I love that she trusted me enough to ask those questions. Otherwise, she was going to be buying weed from some kid I didn't know.
Oh my God. When I think about like compared to legalization now, the stupid and potentially dangerous
Oh
situations
my
I put
God.
myself in to buy weed. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no.
As I got it. I got it. I motherfucking got it. Yeah, I got it.
Yes.
Yeah, I put myself in some very dangerous, dumb situations looking back on it, like just to buy
So-
drugs from someone, some rando.
Well, product of the 60s, child of the 70s. I grew up in that generation of most parents were of the way of thinking of, I'd rather him smoke that stuff at home.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Then out on the streets.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like, okay, I guess that kind of got it geared up for us being legal here in 2024. But
I guess I know that being the parent that I was to my kids, I wasn't the same parent my mom was to me. And but that didn't even change. My kids are still little versions of me that look like my mother. It's the weirdest thing.
Wow.
It's like I so see my mom and my little ones, and I'm like, I taught them that. That's all that I could think of. But they inherit kids. They inherit things. It's just it happens. Inherit qualities.
My child looks a lot like me, but then she has these moments where these expressions flash on her face, and I'm like, wow, that's the man I made a baby with. I'm like, whoa, like he just like boom and then goes away. And it's like,
Materializes and then poof.
yeah, yeah, it's fascinating. It really makes you reevaluate a lot of your beliefs about like nature versus nurture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So like having one of your own, it changes how you. Well, I know when I started having my children, I looked at life a whole lot differently. For instance, recently I got into this scuffle with somebody, and I regretted my actions after the fact because I thought of it and I was like, if that was my daughter, and it was a scuffle.
I want to hear about the scuffle.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, you're supposed to put your foot up there,
Yeah.
not your pinky.
Yeah. That's the
So-
strong
That's
part.
for
I wanna go
friends.
Bam, bam, bam. Yeah.
So it was like it was St. Patrick's Day, and then there was an event. Somebody took a Polaroid picture of me and a friend,
Uh-huh.
and I was developing it. But this girl was, I guess, jealous because of me and my friend is a guy that she likes, I think. And, well, anyway, she took the Polaroid and kept it.
No.
Okay. Yes, okay, right. Really child
Ew.
and stuff. Okay. But my behavior beyond that was worse because one, I'm going through divorce. I'm really hurt. And
You
I
don't need
was-
to make
and I was
excuses. I just want to
thinking-
know, did you fucking clock her and
Sure.
get that Polaroid back?
I did this.
Yes.
I did this, and then I pointed at her because she was taller, like 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
And I was like, give it back. And then when she said no, I think I must have blacked out because I insisted she give it back to me. And even after I chased her down, she still didn't give it back to me. And long story short, it was a scuffle that I wish I didn't get into because later on my window was smashed coincidentally, like severely smashed. I can't even drive because my windshield is so shattered. Yeah, like on the driver's side, shattered. So if somebody's like, oh, yeah, somebody else did that. No, coincidentally, I got in a scuffle with somebody and my window is smashed very aggressively, intentionally.
And still
Okay,
is.
listen, you're taking responsibility for your actions and you know what you need to do to change, but also like that doesn't mean that the other
Yeah.
party is a saint. Like this person, they
Oh,
snatched an image of you from you and refused to give it back.
and then okay.
Like that's weird behavior.
So I thought I was a victim in it, but I was really the aggressor who was like, "You're not gonna bully me," and I'm bullying me. But in the end, I looked at it and I was like, I feel like the broken windshield is instant karma. I shouldn't have insisted in a manner where,
Okay, yeah.
you know, so I feel like I bad behavior got that instant karma just like that. And just as she will go through her karma, we're going to go through our ripples of life just as we are. I chose to forgive her because I don't want to carry that anger with me. And I chose to forgive her and attempt to forgive myself because I'm still having a hard time forgiving myself for that behavior. Like getting my finger splint is a process of forgiving myself.
Are
Because-
you in that phase where you're like replaying the sequence and like feeling a little ashamed? I've been through that place.
So I've been telling it as a joke.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Good.
Yay.
Because
Right
I was
on.
Way to
like,
cope.
Yeah.
I was like, why didn't they stop the fight? And then the guy who also works there, he was like, Joanne, you pulled it down, her tits popped out, and then she pulled you close, and your tits popped out, and then I had one hand here and one hand there, and I had tits in both hands. He was like, I could feel what her tits felt like, and I could feel what your tits felt like, and he was like,
He did the most. He goes, I did the most responsible thing. I went over to that pit and put wet mud in there so you two could wrestle.
Yeah.
well, and for what it's worth, we're both
Take
off.
those lemons and make lemonade.
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
So we're both off it, but we also work at that establishment. So that's
Oh, so you both. Ooh.
so I should have behaved way better than that. I mean, for the respect of the establishment, I shouldn't have fought in front of it.
Customer service liaison person of the month. What are you talking about?
So okay, I mean, my friend was like, Joanne, you don't remember that night, and all I could say is tequila. All right, because she was like, all I saw was your face against the window and her hand on your head, and I was like, oh, that's why my face was sore.
Wait, so on the windshield of your car,
Oh no
and
no
that's
no!
why it's cracked?
No, this one is.
She like
This is at the
slammed?
bar.
Oh,
This is
okay.
at the bar where we got in a scuffle at the front of the door, and she pushed my face into the thing. But the truth is, I don't believe nobody won from that. Nobody won.
No.
At
There are
first,
no winners.
there are no winners. But I was gracious enough. God blessed me enough to be gracious enough to enjoy the rest of my evening
Good.
and just
Until
kind
I
of lick
got
my
out to
wounds.
car.
Yeah, until I got out to my car and saw what happened. But
It's
I
brutal.
Do you
yeah.
think that was related? Do you think it was her?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, okay. I
yeah.
just didn't know. I was
Yeah.
just throwing that out there. I didn't know how close your car was. I
Oh
don't
yeah,
know
it was
if they knew
across
your
the street,
car.
and it wasn't happenstance because somebody had informed me that she had parked the other way, and I knew she ran the other way, so I knew that she had to come back, and I knew at some point my windshield got smashed.
Have you been into your job since then and
Oh,
like
yeah,
been
yeah.
on the same shift? Are you guys okay?
She hasn't come back around, but
If you're watching right now.
I've also messaged her
That's good.
and told her that I'm sorry about my behavior. I shouldn't have even responded that way, because the truth is I am a mother. And yo, do you have any coasters?
Sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
No, I'm good. I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm good. Oh my God. I'm
no,
sorry,
it's all right.
guys.
But I mean, as a mother, I know that I have daughters, and if my daughters were so bratty that they wanted to steal somebody's Polaroid, I wouldn't want them have to deal with anything like that. So that's how I saw it. Like from a mother's perspective, I could have been better. So I went out of my way to let that person know I forgive them, and if they could care less or whatever, but I said that they don't owe me nothing and I don't owe them nothing. But
Okay, so it's always good to hold yourself to a higher standard if you're religious or not. I mean, there's what would Jesus do, right?
Mhm.
But there's also just knowing that, as a mother, I should know that I wouldn't want to do that. But so it's good to hold yourself to a higher standard
There
than
were
what you're
other
doing.
things about
How
that.
do you better yourself?
Yeah, well, also I started to think like I could drink less for one. I could go less. I could go out less too. And now that I work there, I should treat the establishment way different because as a regular,
Yes.
I'm no longer a regular. I'm an employee, even when
That
I'm off.
that I think the like work context is probably important. But I've done it can happen to anyone. Like don't, take the lessons you need to take, but don't beat yourself up about it too badly
Right.
because people do stupid stuff at work all the time. Like it's a very normal thing.
My thing is like I'm 45. I should know better, but then it doesn't-
Nah. Why?
Oh, I wanted to talk about frequencies because we were talking about like,
Yes.
so I know that right now I have no problem at the idea of going without mushrooms and such because I feel like that's a level that I felt that I feel like I could channel again if I must
Mm-hmm.
In a natural way.
in a natural way
Hmm.
because this is what I understand. I remember that feeling. I remember how to get there and I can do it again. And all I have to do is just put myself in that state, and all of a sudden I can see the things that I see. The
Hmm.
colors, the vibrant colors become
Mhm.
vibrant the way as if I were on that I guess that frequency. That's what my cousin explained to me. I don't understand
Do
frequencies,
you
to be
do you
honest.
think that like because I've tried all sorts of things. Like, do you think that when you are taking a very heavy dose of mushrooms to the point where it is your perception, you know what I mean? Like, is that something that's happening inside here, or is it cluing you into another dimension or an aspect of reality that's beyond our day-to-day perception?
All those things exist all at the same time.
Thank
It's
you.
just whether
Yes.
you're able to tap into it or not. Now, that's exactly like how you said, how it opens a part of your brain that you're not used to tapping into. Well, once you feel that, I believe that if I allow it, I can tap into that same feeling.
You can get back there.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's just but you have to be very conscious about your intention. And if you go in without intention, then you
Well, okay, so but that's okay. So transcendence is what you're really speaking of, and so
uh,
you think of when the Beatles in like the 60s went to go visit the Maharishi, and they took LSD, and it was really to expand their minds. Once somebody takes a mind altering substance, I'm not just talking about pot, I'm talking about LSD, mushrooms, something that really makes a real change. Once you've experienced that even once in your life, you kind of have an understanding of everything else on this planet. You understand that, oh, animals have feelings that I don't realize. Oh, you mean if I pull this flower out of the ground, it will feel it in some level. You start to have a realization that it's not just me on this planet.
Oh yeah, the interconnectivity. Okay, so everybody talks about their purpose, and I believe that. Um, okay, so there's no secret here. I'm a Christian. I'm a Christian, and I believe in God's
God
purpose.
to the lions with you.
And I believe in God's purpose. So, but when people speak about their sole purpose, I get it. But I guess as a Christian, I believe in God's purpose. So, I know that I have a purpose to serve, but it's because there's a greater purpose that's beyond me. And a lot of people are into like manifesting their own self purpose, but they have to realize that their purpose is going to serve somebody else's purpose.
I want to see if I can pull something up. Have you read The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron?
Mm-mm.
So it's just this lovely set of Artist's Way. This set of like exercises that can kind of unlock creativity,
Oh, yeah.
a lot of like introspection and journaling, but part of it does involve tapping into this sense of a higher power that you can call God, you can call the void, you can call Brahma or the creator. And so there's this beautiful prayer, like, which is and it's an artist's prayer. It's a prayer to the creator.
And that's the biggest thing is
Yeah.
understanding that there's a greater power outside of
Yeah.
our own power. Now, but
It's,
then
of course, it's
recognizing
not
our
online.
power. Oh, but here, write that. Or let me. I'm gonna
The
remind you
creator's
this one.
prayer. And so like when you're going through it, you can take this prayer and make a version of it for yourself. And it's super powerful. Just kind of in learning to trust when you're in those moments of like flow state. It's almost like it puts you in this place of trusting that, you know, you are responsible for the quantity and the creator is responsible for the quality. It's like that flow state that you need to get into to kind of like
Like have faith.
both have faith, put yourself out there, and then let go of control over the process,
Yeah.
which is so hard.
'Cause
So hard.
That's the biggest part of faith is like, and the biggest challenge is when people encounter the hard parts, they're thinking that it's a failure, but it's not a failure. No, it's where you have to allow your faith to actually exist. That's where your faith should be the strongest, is in your lowest. So my daughter had my 5-year-old was diagnosed with hereditary spherocytosis, was a genetic mutation of red blood cell disorder. So her red blood cells were spherical, and her spleen would d- burn her red blood cells to the point where her hemoglobin was so low that at 5 days old she had her first blood transfusion, and every month till she was 2 years old had a transfusion since. And that's a lot on a kid because she had like lead, not lead, iron, an excessive amount of iron. And so when she got her spleen removed,
What's her blood type? She might have had some of my
uh,
blood.
she's AB positive.
Oh no, she didn't have any of my blood. Well, maybe she did. I don't know how blood types work very well.
Oh, but
I'm O
we were
positive.
we were in Texas.
Okay.
So,
She
but
didn't have any of my blood.
so when I had to accept that the doctor was telling me this, that's where faith had to take over and convince me that it's bigger than me. I can't like stubborn my way out of this. Like, no, that's not right. No, it is what it is. You have to just put your head down and like muscle through it. And faith is the only thing that gave me enough strength to make it through, because I had no idea what we were going to go through: the transfusions, the ports, the infections, and eventually the splenectomy. Yeah. right? But without faith, and I guess without my Christian backing, where I could talk to God, and because everybody has their own version of how they talk to God, or whoever you talk to, a greater being. And that, if I feel like if it wasn't for that, I would have just like given up. But anyways,
Yeah.
I can't remember
Wow.
why I went there. I think because
Because we were talking about
oh
vibrational
yes,
frequency.
is this like it's all about finding yourself, I think, in your purpose. And but I guess my biggest thing is that my purpose, I understand, is to serve other people's purposes as well.
Hmm.
So like the divorce between me and my husband, that's just something that has to happen because we both outgrew each other. And he has to grow into his new life. I have to grow into my new life, and my children have to experience what they're experiencing to make them who they are for the future.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard, but yeah,
What are you gonna do? It
just
is what it is.
don't drink too much.
Yeah, don't drink too much, kids. Make sure you have one glass of
There you
water for
go.
every drink. Every
Stay
2 drinks
hydrated.
if you much. Yeah, if you must. I would say, hydrate or dihydrate. That's what I always say.
Oh, they say
Hydrate or dihydrate, folks.
what? Okay, dehydrate, like die from.
Yeah,
hydrate.
well,
Okay.
don't die from dehydration.
die.
Hydrate, don't dihydrate.
It's half your body weight in ounces. For instance, I weigh 150 pounds. I'm supposed to drink 75 ounces of water in a day to have a good, well, this was from a nutritionist. And
I believe you. I just don't
Like
believe that you
renal
weigh. You don't
function?
weigh 150 pounds.
oh, I used to weigh more.
Really?
Yeah, I lost hella weight since the
Not.
divorce.
I mean, whatever. Not that
And
there's
so how much
anything wrong
how
with
much
weight.
water, and was it for like proper renal function, for like
Yes.
kidney function?
Well, yeah, for your body to be sufficiently oiled and greased, So
Believe me, I
half
mine
your
is. I'm
body
here in
weight.
San Francisco. It's properly greased.
All of that, McKen.
Yeah, they put me up on the lap.
oiled and greased.
But half your body weight in ounces. And people always look at there was a point in my life where I was really good at drinking the water I drank, and even having to go pee all the time because I was diabetic. I mean, I'm not diabetic anymore.
Yay!
Like, did you notice I don't have the sensors? Remember when I used to start coming, I had like the sensors on my arm? Oh, you don't remember.
How did
Anyways,
you heal your diabetes?
depression?
Lovely.
Just not eating, and then that just meant like less sugar consumption, and then I didn't need my insulin as much, and then
Kids, if you have type 2 diabetes, go get sad. That's our advice.
go through a divorce.
Yeah, go get divorced. Have a brief depression that you will exit from at some point.
I've met a lot of people who went through divorce and their diet was like cigarettes and coffee, and they lost a lot of weight.
Yeah, that is one way to lose
Right.
a lot of. I went through. It wasn't a divorce. I was engaged to someone, and then I broke it off, and it was a pretty bad breakup. And I was the slimmest I've ever been. I was probably
Oh.
like, I look back at photos of myself, and I was like, yeah, that bod was kind of banging, but like, I wasn't happy. I
Yeah.
wasn't happy living in that body.
Do you
know?
think it's because like we are not aware of what we're putting in our mouth when we're I guess in a relationship?
No, it's well, I mean, I was in a fight or flight
Okay.
situation during that breakup, and then it took me a while to kind of like process and feel okay again. And then before we broke up, I'd been living with him in Turkey for 2 years, and the like Mediterranean diet just
Yeah,
I
gonna
was
say.
eating whatever I wanted, and the slimmest like super slim.
Because they do grains and
It's
meat.
mostly
Oh,
vegetables,
sounds so delicious. I'm
fish,
so hungry now.
grains, and like animal proteins, but in a pretty like limited fashion. It's not like your meal is a slab of steak. It's like, your meal is salad and rice and like I keep bumping into this. I'm so sorry. And like a tomato and vegetable dish with a little bit of diced meat in there. So it's like you might be eating meat every day, but it's like an ounce of meat
It
or like
sounds like a
1 ounce of
well-balanced
cheese.
meal.
It's so good.
fiber. Fiber is one of the things that we forget to put in our
It's
diet.
really important for your pooper kids.
Yes.
Lesson number 3: eat fiber. Eat insoluble and soluble fiber.
Yeah, because
It's
I don't
good for your
think
pooper.
bread is not fiber. Bread is
Doesn't it have
wheat.
soluble fiber? It does have
Does
wheat,
it?
but it has soluble fiber.
Oh,
Less
does?
if it's white.
What is the best kind of like soluble fiber? I don't know because I
Like
barely eat
wheat germ,
wheat.
psyllium husks.
Okay.
That's what they give you to help
I'm way
help
too
clean you
hungry.
out. I know, I'm hungry too.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, okay. If we were
I'd
gonna
eat the husk out of a psyllium right now.
Ooh, I'll husk your psyllium.
Can I tell
ball.
you, I was hella stressed out about like making sure everything ran smoothly, but then allowing, okay, so I heard this TikTok where she was like, don't chase time, let it pass through you because you don't chase time, time comes to you. You don't like make time happen faster. Time passes through you. Time goes through you. So she was like, set a pin on things and like watch it come closer to you, not that you chase after it. I forgot what I was going with this, but I'm hungry.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have any apparent choice about the forward flow of time, right? Like if the forward arrow of time moves on whether you want it to or not, so you might as well
Yeah, just
let go a little bit because we're all going like this until we can't.
Yeah.
But more importantly, if we were to hypothetically Postmates some
Some
food,
food. Oh, we would
get
eat
get
it.
I mean, I don't actually want to, but I
no,
do
because
want
it's so
to.
expensive, right?
It is so expensive.
And
But
really-
like, okay, let's say money is no object, right? Like
we can have anything
infinite
from
budget.
anywhere?
We could have anything from anywhere.
Okay, I would
What would
get-
you have right now?
I would
Right?
get. I want to say Mexican. I kind of want like
Yeah.
a burrito, like an Alfaro burrito.
El Farlito. I kind of want to go upscale that. I would rather go to like Celia's or something Mexican food,
no,
like sit down and
Mm.
get Mexican food
Ooh, sounds
with a
delicious.
margarita.
Oh my
Ooh,
God.
nice.
Okay, so not drinking. Those are the drinks that I miss, like the fancy drinks, like the
The
margarita,
fancy drink.
the
The
daiquiri.
fancy drinks. You can
But-
always get them made virgin,
Yeah,
but it's not quite the same.
honestly, finding my sobriety without the alcohol is a lot more exciting because the more days I go without it, I realize how different I feel. And my acupuncturist even thought I was like I had a happier glow to me
Mm.
and I have more energy. And he doesn't know it's sativa, but but he knows that my I smoke weed. It's just also my weed intake is less.
Nice.
I'm healthier
Great.
than last week.
I would like while we're asking God
Food.
for our food order, I would like some oysters and caviar.
Oh my
Um,
god!
You know what I started doing?
At the same time? Is that the
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Okay.
not at the same time. Well, I might put like a little bump of caviar on my oyster. But I
Ooh.
started driving up to the oyster farm to like Tamales Bay, and you can get them at like if you have
like
a
market
half day,
price.
if you have the time, you can get them at a really good price. You're buying direct from the farmers, and then you just like drive up the road to a beach and like shuck them and chuck them, and it's so good. That is what I want right now.
I want that too.
I want that, and then I want little bumps of caviar, just like
Okay.
on potato
I love
chips.
how she's like little
I want
bumps. of
caviar
this.
on potato
a
chips.
little bump? I just want a little
I,
bump.
no, I want
want-
like the 300-gram tin all to myself.
Oh
I
my
want to blow
gosh.
thousands of dollars of someone else's money on caviar.
I want to
That's what
try
I want
that
right now.
now because like my version of caviar is what comes on the sushi.
That stuff is good too.
Yeah, but it's just like another version of like not caviar, but you know.
I mean,
just
it
pops in your mouth.
tastes like salty ocean jizz.
Altogether
but
the
it's,
same,
it's
right?
delicious. I feel like it's like your body knows when it gets that like
That
massive
fancy
dose
shit.
of B vitamins.
You
like
had me at
B12
salty
is the-
ocean juice.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's delicious.
How do you
It's
dress
the
your
best.
oysters?
I either
Tucks and tails.
I like them all which ways. If they're good oysters, straight up, I will sometimes do a little squeeze of lemon, and I started getting into hot sauce. I'm not a mignonette bitch. I don't like the
Mignonette is the
vinegary
vinegar?
sauce.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
I like lemon or hot sauce, or just straight up if they're that good.
Okay, here in California, I've noticed that that's the go-to is the vinegar, the vignette. That's what you call
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And cocktail sauce. But
No, hot sauce. Fuck
In-
that cocktail sauce.
in-
Can't do
in-
that.
in Texas, what I would order typically from Papados, which I guess is a Creole version, it would come with horseradish, the minced
That's
horseradish.
nice.
Ooh, it's
That's
delicious.
nice.
Horseradish, cocktail, real, like not this red,
Really?
but it's like cocktail sauce, but it looks like chunky with garlic and
Yeah,
all those
see, I
things.
don't like the like glorified tomato sauce. I
Right,
can't do
okay.
that. Yeah.
And lemon and hot sauce. But
Lovely.
all of those things on a dollop of this and then, you know.
Is
Just
in
enough of a little bit of each one.
so in Texas, do you eat your oysters out of the shell or do you put them on a cracker?
Out of the shell. Like
Nice.
I would just honestly
done.
dislodge it with the little fork
And you're
just so I
like,
could get ready to
oh, it's so good. So
And
good.
um I'm hungry now for oysters.
Yeah, me too.
Where do you get your oysters other than there? I mean, like if you're like I want to eat oysters right now, where would you go?
God, they're so fucking expensive. They're so
STK?
expensive. Yeah.
You've heard of SDK?
No.
It's on First and Market. They have $3 oysters during happy hour.
When is happy hour?
It's like
That's what
6 to 9. Yeah.
I won't be here. There's a spot close to where I live in Oakland called Low Bar that does oysters. That's quite nice.
Oh.
But normally I try to get them directly from Tamales Bay Oyster Company, or there's this seafood like retailer. They started doing direct to consumer during the pandemic because all the restaurants shut down. It's called Water to
Oh.
Table. And they're having a promo right now for dollar oysters.
Water to table because
Water to table with the number 2.
so back in Texas it was called groomers or groupers or something like
Yeah.
that. I remember like where I guess where the restaurants would typically get their tuna and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
that's the best place to order seafood. from.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's not like frozen and then like
Mhm.
stocked away.
Mhm.
But okay, so yeah, you do believe that like frequencies as far as if you've been able to channel that frequency, you can always resume that frequency just by knowing precisely where you were and how you felt at that moment.
Do
I'm-
I?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to-
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were. It's
No, we need to know.
Oh,
yeah,
we
yeah,
need to know
yeah.
about your vibrational frequencies.
Yeah.
Paul.
Do
Now.
Uh, yeah.
Now.
Do I?
Keep you on your toes.
Do it.
Do I channel my frequencies? Is what you're asking.
Well, because it sounds like I think since you're the oldest, you've done the most drugs.
Yeah.
Yes. He's done the most drugs. He's definitely
Yeah,
done
probably.
the most drugs. Yeah.
Just
He's
gonna
done
guess
the
in
most
this room,
drugs.
I probably have.
Yes.
Although I remember.
I
for weeks.
salute you, sir.
We appreciate your service to our
Yeah.
country. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've taken all my life experiences, drug induced or not, and you reconcile every day, don't you? I mean, even what was it, a month ago, I heard from my friend Elmo. He was asking if everybody was okay, and so. I think it's okay to check in with yourself. So I know how bad my day's going, how often I check in with myself. How you doing? How's it going? And it was like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. But so, yeah, I mean, you have to reconcile all your life experiences and use what you got in your toolbox every day you wake up, right?
I think the hardest thing is existing in the present and trying to be happy and then remembering the guilty thought because I think like mom guilt is real.
It's so real.
It's so real. So the moment that I feel guilt for something that like, I could have been better to my kids, I have to remember not to sit in that, but just learn from it and then move on, but not be hurt by it. You know what I mean? I have to like learn anyways. More or less,
I mean,
I can't
but,
get
like-
stuck in feeling sad because I feel sad a lot of the time. So.
Yeah, but like we have to have some grace for ourselves too, right? I mean, like mom guilt is a thing because so many moms feel it because
We want the best for our kids.
Well, yeah, I mean like millions of years of evolution have selected us to give a shit about our young when we reproduce, and that's okay. And also too, like I don't know, man, what is human happiness, right? What even
Human
is
happiness is-
happiness? So if you find yourself tripping up over this elusive thing that is sometimes here and not there, the closer you look at it, the more it disappears. I don't know. It's okay to not be okay is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I've being away from my kids, I noticed that there were things that we get used to each other. So like there's some attitudes that, okay, for instance, I'll see my cousin with her kids and they get annoyed with each other. And I'm thinking about if I had my kids right now with me, I would make an effort to not be annoyed by them because I miss them so much. But the truth is, when you're like with somebody for so long, you get desensitized to them, and then you start talking like this, like annoyance to each other.
I don't think it's possible to be around anyone continuously
Without getting-
long term and not feel like they're pissing you the fuck off. And you can love them to pieces. Inevitably, anyone and everyone, if you're around them long enough, will piss you off.
My cousin has six
you
kids.
can love your children, you can love your spouse or your friends, and they will still piss you off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a given, right? You just have to not enjoy it, but accept it. I guess is gonna.
I mean, still try to be a better version of yourself, but
That's the biggest
understand that
part.
you're still human.
Okay, so, but I don't know if we're talking about what you were saying. It was either mom or mom guilt.
Mom guilt.
I don't know what we're
I think
talking about
it's more
anymore either.
motivation,
Hmm.
right? And so it's whatever makes you be a better person.
Oh yeah, because
I mean, maybe it's being in the presence of others. Maybe like, oh, my mom's here or my granny's here, so I'm not going to drop an F-bomb, right? It could be as simple as that, but it could also be, hey, I'm not going to do this because I wouldn't want this done to me. And that's a religious thing, right? That's the golden rule
karma.
thing. The golden rule thing. And then I think society has built up a lot of different tools or different things. If it's religion, if it's mom guilt, if it's religious guilt. What about Catholic guilt?
yeah,
Or Jewish guilt, like the Jewish mom or whatever. So there's lots of ways to motivate yourself as long as you can be true to yourself, and that's hard sometimes.
and not rest in that guilt, because I think that guilt is there to either motivate you to be better, definitely not to suppress you.
Right.
Yeah, so
To make you a better person, to make tomorrow an easier day for you and the ones that you love.
oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. It's 3:33.
It's 3:33 on episode 9.
Oh wow, yes, it all adds up.
with JoMama.
Numbers have always been a big thing to me. Like I don't even want to
Like numerology. And stuff.
yeah. So when I feel like angels speak to me in numbers.
I've liked numbers, but I've never been superstitious really until last week when it was
420.
Ralph's 13th show.
Okay.
And I had 3 or 4 technical issues that I had to keep restarting.
And then what was it like? What were the numbers popping up a certain way? Is that what you made you think about?
No, it's just that I kept asking him, like you today. I'm like, oh, what episode are you on?
Oh.
And he kept saying 13. And so, no, it was just knowing it was episode 13 and all of a sudden I was running into errors. But I think it was just a way of...
13 is not such a bad number as it turns out.
A lot of people,
Really?
that's
Why?
their lucky number.
Yeah, a lot of people.
Huh.
Well, anyways, it's how they Friday the 13th, they give it like this like, I guess, curse kind of look on it, but it's not necessarily a bad number. It's just that's what people have been tying it to.
Some sort of evil connotation.
Yeah. Like the 13th floor and such. But I think power is where you place it. Okay, so if you don't place power in anything, then there's no power in it. Does that make sense? So like the number 13th has no power over me because I don't place any power in it.
Because you're not investing it with your belief.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Eh.
as it turns out, I'm just oblivious.
Sure.
I mean, ignorance is
I
bliss.
would-
I don't know,
would've
man. Like, yes and no. Like, I think when it comes to like beliefs that have been handed down to us or that are part of our like cultural context, sure, right? Like the more of your energy and belief you give to something, the more or less power it will have over you.
Right.
But I can't very well like argue against like an ICBM that's about to be dropped on my head because I don't believe it, right? Like there are some
What's
things.
an ICBM?
Nothing. Or
Is that a
let's
computer?
no. Let's say there's like a tsunami coming to San Francisco right now. I'm not going to be protected from it just because I refuse to believe that a tsunami is coming.
Absolutely,
Right? Like
there
there's
you
this
go.
notion where I think like people forget that there are like physical causes at play in our world that are larger than just like you and what's going on in here. You can't like wish your way out of an earthquake.
The whole
You know?
out of sight, out of
Yeah.
mind only applies to like when you're hiding and seeking. You're like, you can't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
me.
So one thing, military, but you don't know what an ICBM is.
What is that? What are you talking
Intercontinental ballistic missile.
about? Oh,
Yeah.
No.
In
Yeah.
other words, big missile
Big-
coming this way.
Big dead time. Yeah.
Like I would recognize the word mortar
Yeah.
or rocket or missile, but
Okay, yeah.
ICBM. Okay.
Doesn't matter.
I thought she was talking
It-
about the computer.
Oh,
I
it's the new
ICIBM.
Apple and PC
Yeah.
conglomerate thing. It's
IPC IPCBCBM.
yeah, or something.
It all makes sense.
Yeah, why
It's,
not?
You know, again, ignorance is bliss sometimes.
Yes.
And I really wish I was dumb about certain things.
Oh my God. No, well, knowledge is sorrow too. So when somebody is explaining something that you know they're wrong and you just let them be wrong, it's sad.
Oh,
Like, it's-
I had that yesterday.
just let them be wrong.
You just have to go, uh-huh.
Yeah, and
Yeah?
we tried to enlighten. It didn't work.
Oh, what do you think we should do?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me.
Oh my
Yeah. Yeah, that's like your welcome to like one day of being a woman, Paul. Like
or her mom.
yeah.
Okay. It's,
Oh,
these
yeah,
kids
yeah.
will
That's
ask
how you want to clean that up? Okay.
Oh, you know, you've raised kids. You're just a mom, but a dad version.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, raised a lot of kids.
You tell them what to do, and they want to know why. It's okay. You should explain it to them just so that they understand what the process. But there's a point where like my kids are like, "You're stupid, mom," and I'm not that stupid.
Mm-mm.
And I have opinion Tourette's. If somebody says something that's so far out of left field, I'm
Opinion
just
Tourette.
like,
Yeah.
and I just want to. It's hard not to say anything.
I will like Google facts. I will fact
To
check.
fact check your kids.
Well, I will fact check to just be accurate because I like accuracy. I don't like inaccuracies.
Why don't kids actually? They grew up with this technology. Why aren't they constantly checking the internet and using it as a tool?
I think they do though.
My kids don't. My kids are constantly in their 20s,
Oh.
except for my youngest. So at least the mid 21s are all like, they're like, oh, I want to go see that movie. You see a commercial or something. They're like, oh, I want to go see that movie. I wonder where it's showing. Google search.
Oh, they
Mhm.
don't do that? They have their own phones. They're just like,
They just-
I wonder
They
where
go, I
it's-"
want to see that movie. I don't know where it is. I
That's
wonder how
just
much it
complacency.
costs.
Then
What's the
there's-
show
Oh
times?
no, okay. I wonder how much it costs. This sounds like an unspoken agreement to
Oh,
make dad
okay.
pay for it and
Okay.
invite them out.
Yeah,
Like,
or
I really want these beautiful pearl earrings, but I
My
wonder
kids weren't
I
more
wonder
risky.
how much they cost. Or wow, what a wonderful, this looks like a really cool car. Hey dad, do you know how much this car costs?
Yeah, some,
that's what that
some,
sounds
some
like.
of it might be, but no, I think it's because they actually are better off to do than I am. A couple of my kids are special needs and have like benefits.
oh wow. As far as checking,
Mm.
sometimes they get lazy and they expect you to just tell them.
Yeah.
But it's like Google
Do
it.
the work for
Well,
me.
it's like they're constantly on their devices, but they're doing other things.
You
It's
know-
entertainment.
Kills me.
Mm.
Sometimes my kids don't answer the phone, and I'm like, how do
Oh,
you not
there you
answer
go.
the phone? You're always on your phone. You're always on your
Because
phone.
nobody wants to have a phone call nowadays.
Oh.
You want to text.
So
you don't want to do a phone call.
the toddler being in Texas, when she gets
Oh,
tired of
that's rough.
FaceTiming with me, I know it's hella sad.
That's so rough.
Because I mean, like up until the age that where I agreed to send her back to Texas to live there when she was 4. She's 5 now, but it's been almost like so long, almost a year, where we haven't lived together, and it's a hard obstacle that I'm going through. But when she's tired of talking to me, she's like, "Mom, I just want to get on YouTube." And I'm like, okay, I love you. I gotta let her go because she just wants to be on YouTube. She doesn't want to talk to me the whole time, and I get it.
Yeah.
But if we were together, I'd be cuddling with her.
You'd be cuddling with her. You'd be watching things
Yeah.
and talking to her about it. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll both be on our phones. There you go.
Yeah. But you're like introverting together in the same room.
You know, it was the hardest thing because I was looking at all these playgrounds and just crying all over the city because there were two instances where they were supposed to come visit me, but it's a holdup in the courts because he's insisting he doesn't want them to come to California for whatever reason. But okay, divorce, when it's settled, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
That's my belief. But here I am crying every time I see a park, but I'm learning that there's all these parks and I'm happy now because I'm like, I can take her there. I can take her there because I'm going to get her during the summer. And I need to tell myself that because the more I'm like, this is dismal, I hate everything about it, I'm not going to be positive about it. And that's why.
That's so rough. It's so rough to
It's
be away from
definitely
your kid.
draining.
Yeah.
Oh. So, but that the joy that I'm exuding is like above what I'm really going through.
Good.
It's just draining.
Yeah.
So, do you have to pick up your daughter?
So that's my partner's job.
Ooh.
I did drop off, so he's doing pickup. But she gets out of preschool like 4:15, 4:30. We got to get her before 4:30. So he's gonna go get her. When we're done here, I'll hop on transit and go home, and then I'll see her at home, and it'll be just lovely.
Miss that the most. Like all the things that was like stressful, like handling and moving around, going to the grocery store, and all of these things that I used to think were stressful. Now I'm like, I would do anything just to be that again.
It's those like daily, just like very like trivial everyday things that form like part of your experience as a family.
Dude, at the time, my three being the oldest now, but when they were little, going to the grocery store with three kids in a
Oh
it was
God.
hard.
Yeah, that
Because
does sound hard. And
they
you're
were
like
mean to
corralling
each
them all.
other.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Of course they are.
And there's not even
Yeah.
enough seats to put the butts in
Yep.
because there's three. So
Yeah.
then I have the baby in the seat and then the two older ones just like teasing her. And then she's just so.
Oh.
But the times like that, I remember being in the moment and like feeling so drained. But now I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I made it through that.
Yeah, I think for me too, like doing comedy, it's been this whole process of like accepting that I have a certain amount of bandwidth and that like raising my child is also a creative project because well, I mean like
Yes.
all of the mics, right? Not all of, a lot of the mics are in the like 5:30 to 9 p.m. range
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's like prime time for me. Like I'm on and
Dinner.
like I haven't seen her all day because I need to use my childcare hours to like get work done and so then I want to be with her, but you do need to like work on your material and get out and so and then you see like on social media the like portals where comics will sign up for open mic spots. There are these folks who are out there like hitting them the mics like
Yeah.
all the time. It's so
Aggressively, they can.
I had and still have a lot of FOMO when I see that. And I just have to accept that like you know, first of all, you can over sharpen the instrument and also like those family times are part of what fill my tank and I
Yes.
need to be there for me.
So, how long were you doing comedy before you had your daughter?
I had my daughter in 2021
Mhm.
and I started doing comedy in March of 2023.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm a baby.
Okay, March of 2023. Okay, I started in September 2022.
Cool.
Not far off, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, and it's, I guess, like, being a little older or, being in your 30s. Wait, no, being in your late 30s.
I'm in my being in my mid 20s.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah, being in my
Do
mid
you see how
20s.
I had to escalate? Because I was like, we learned your real age.
Yeah.
I was like, what was it? Mid 30. Okay, but being at your age, I feel like your life experience kind of makes it a lot easier to start comedy at right now. Whereas a younger person starting comedy probably doesn't have a lot of the experience you have.
I have no idea. I can't speak for other people. I know a lot more about who I am and what I want now.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like hearing the younger folks, but when people talk about experiences that they've never really experienced, you can tell the story is disconnected.
Yeah. What's the deal with dating? I don't know, man. I don't think I could get back in the dating pool. But that's something where like you see a lot of younger comics talking about dating, and
Oh,
it's just like, wow, like that's like the ways in which your gentle heart has not been broken yet. Oh.
I am having a hard
Oh.
time creating that relatability with other comics and open mics because a lot of them are not going through the same instances that I'm going through. But okay, so I know you just headlined. You headlined recently, and I remember seeing the picture. Where was
So I had my first headlining gig at Yoshi's
Yoshi's?
on
Okay.
March 26th.
Wow.
Yeah, I
It
remember
was
seeing
so
that.
much
It was
fun.
beautiful.
It
Like,
was so much
That's a
fun.
beautiful
And
room.
everyone, it really was. Everyone, like the other comics that night, the like folks at Yoshi's, the producer I was working with, they were just great.
so
And
how did you get at that? How did you arrive to that opportunity? Were you invited? Did you have to inquire?
I inquired.
Oh, that's awesome.
I saw this producer was putting on a bunch of shows, and so I just friended them on Facebook and like sat on the connection. It's just like, oh, like good person to know about. And then I saw that this person posted kind of like just kind of wrote something expressing dissatisfaction with individuals who were not available to work a guest set for no pay. People can fall on whatever side of that debate they want. I don't care. I saw an opportunity. I was like, oh, well, you're upset because people won't work for free. I will work for free if you're going to put me on your show. Fuck yeah. And so I just wrote this person an email. I was like, hey, here's my name. Here's a link to 2 clips of mine. Saw your post about XYZ issue. I'm available. I'm ready to work.
There you
What do you
go.
want to do? And so they offered me a guest set at Cobb's in December, and then that turned into a bigger gig.
That's freaking awesome. Time and
Um,
place and an opportunity and chasing that opportunity out.
Because even a guest set at Cobb's is not nothing to
Frown
it was
upon,
it was
yeah.
a huge
even on
opportunity.
a,
It
let's
was
say a Monday or
That's
Tuesday. Or
huge.
it
whatever.
was great, and like leap in the net will appear. I
That's
don't know.
awesome.
And it's not like I've never been rejected from cold emails. I get rejected all the time.
Right.
Aside from comedy, I'm a visual artist and I'm applying to calls constantly. And like for every one acceptance, I probably get 3 to 4 rejections, and it sucks. I've been rejected from like, in some cases reached out to show producers and they've been like, yeah, the material could use a little bit more massaging, but let's keep in touch and let me know as things change, and that's fine too. But
Oh, that's what
Yeah.
I wanted to like your degrees, having graduated with with a graduate degree, and I mean the degrees that you majored in, one being philosophy, that's hella intense. But okay, I guess what I'm trying to say is the business savvy that you're applying to asking questions, the business savvy as far as recognizing opportunity, reaching out to them by email, that's savvy.
thank you.
And a lot of people don't think that far ahead because they're like, why don't I get that? Instead of doing something about it or asking questions about it, they want to already be upset, like, why don't I get that? You don't get that because you're not pursuing it.
And if you're not trying, you ain't getting.
There you go.
It's so hard to put yourself out there, and
Oh, yeah,
rejection
rejection
sucks. But I
sucks.
do think that one of the benefits of part of why I feel like visual art and comedy go well together is because with comedy, there's a certain part of the rejection cycle that comes in faster iterations, right? Like if your material sucks and you bomb, right away.
You feel it
You
in
can
real
feel it
time
immediately.
on stage.
It's not like I like send a scan of my painting that goes off to such
yeah,
and such
yeah.
festival, and then I hear back 3
Right,
months later that they didn't
No,
like it. And
that's
so
instantaneous.
you just kind of like get bolder about putting yourself out there, and it still stings, but it matters a little
but it
bit less
also
and
goes
less.
both ways because you can also get instantaneous gratification.
Yes.
Yes,
And
just by
that's
that
the,
chuckle.
and that's the drug we're all addicted to.
So, oh fuck, my ADHD brain. I had it on the tip of my
Brain.
tongue.
ADHD
I totally forgot what I was gonna say. But oh yeah, that dopamine rush. I was looking at singing karaoke whenever I got like last night I did karaoke and I did martinis. So singing at the piano bar was even more of a boost because I was like, it brings my dopamines up. But I was looking back at old.
Doesn't singing also stimulate the vagus nerve?
Is that what it
It
does?
does. It's like that's a natural form of pain relief you can do if you're like just like
Oh,
yeah, like
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, because I growl a lot of my songs. But so I watch a lot of my old jokes and I'm like, I don't feel the same way. I feel like being sober, I feel differently about the things that I've said. Like I don't feel nearly as bold as I did when I was like, intoxicated.
By the way, when you do that with the vagus nerve and that's happening, you are also resetting your body. It's kind of like hitting the reset button.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, yesterday somebody gave me a back massage, like with the roller. He was like, check this out. Sammy Joe was massaging my back, and then I sang, and I was like, I sing way more relaxed when I just had my back worked on.
Mm-hmm. It's the whole physical instrument.
It was like
All of it.
crazy smooth.
Crazy smooth.
Crazy
I heard
smooth.
that sound coming out of my voice. I was like, wait, what is that? It was just like,
Who am I?
because normally I start off tough, like sitting in the morning sun, like hella hard. But when they massaged my back, I was like, sitting in the morning sun.
Yeah.
I'll be sitting when the evening comes. And it was just like butter rather than like, yeah.
Sitting there in the morning
Mhm.
sun.
So I should always have a massage and then sing karaoke.
I should always also have a massage. I should always have a massage.
Kids are wonderful for that. Teach your daughter to walk on your back.
Good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I performed at the Vegas Hemp Festival, and they had people giving you massages in those chairs that you sit where it's like a.
your face is in a hole.
Yeah. The
Well,
massage.
no, it's a weird like S chair. It's
Yeah,
a
like
rocker.
this.
Right, and you kind of just you go like that. It's almost like you're riding a bike and putting your arm over.
Yeah.
And so I remember I was so relaxed.
Relax is tricky, right?
Because you don't want to be too.
Yeah, you could get robbed.
Well,
You
and
could. Something awful could happen to me if I relax.
Well,
yeah.
even if you're a person that your persona on stage is like, I'm all wound up and stressed out and pissed off, that's still kind of
Relax is like, hold on, it's helped you still?
it was kind of dialed in. Yeah, at that point, my act was I would start off kind of mellow, and depending on how long your set was, I would
Ratchet it up.
Yeah, all the way through.
Nice.
And
Ratchet it
I
up.
remember going in there going, okay, I got this. But then getting that massage, and I'm like, oh, I really got this.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Okay, so did you know it's not just fight or flight? It's fight, flight, fawn, and freeze. There's
Mhm.
4 things that.
Fawn and free.
Yeah. So as long as you're
No.
not doing any of those 4 things, you're relaxed. What? But I
Okay,
do all
of
those
the
things.
4 adrenaline responses, which do you think you tend to have more? Fight, flight, fawn, or freeze?
Oh, fight or flight. The fawn, I hate when I'm having to like satisfy somebody else's needs if I'm feeling less. So I don't feel like I fawn as much. I used to. Like as a
Mhm.
people pleaser, I used to fawn, but now I'm like making me feel ugly. I don't like you. So I will not fawn for you.
Hmm.
And freezing, I get upset with myself. Like, how dare you freeze right now?
Hmm.
So fight or flight are my choice. Same time.
That's smart.
You?
I'm a fight bitch.
Yeah,
I'm
there
like
you
a
go.
very, very big fight
What?
bitch. I'm like, oh my
Yes.
goodness.
Hell yeah.
5 minutes left?
Hey, you-
Well, okay, so what should we do? What should we
you're
do?
gonna
What should we
promote.
do?
You're gonna promote.
I'm going to
your
promote my
shows. Yeah.
shows. I'm
You got
gonna
about
promote my
5 to
shows.
6
I
minutes,
got
yeah.
5 or 6 minutes to promote my shows. Okay, I got
We're
5 or
in
6. We got to
flight
promote these shows now.
mode.
Okay, we're in flight mode. Okay. Actually, super chill, awesome shows coming up this Saturday, April 27th at my gallery Helvella Art in Oakland. I'm doing a comedy showcase to celebrate the closing night of our gallery show.
Oh, wow.
So the gallery show is super cool. It's this postcard size art show called Send Me Across the Sea. And so the comedy show name is You Got Mail.
Okay.
Very proud of that. It's a showcase I'll be hosting with 5 other comedians, some really great talent from around the Bay. Also awesome local art for sale. The comedy show's $10, but gallery
It's
hours are
already-
free.
oh,
So you can come buy some tickets if you want. $10 on Eventbrite, You Got Mail, or just show up, check out the art. If you want to stay for the comedy show, that's cool too. And the following day, I will be in a comedy showcase at Kells in
Ooh.
SF on the Sunday. So I got 2
On the
shows coming up
Sunday.
this weekend.
Okay, yay.
Yeah.
Is Kel's the same place that? Okay, yay.
Yeah.
The Purple Onion at Kells.
Yes.
Yes.
That one. We have a show coming
Yes,
up.
we do.
It is April 30th, not today, Tuesday, next Tuesday. And all the people that are stressing out about it are like, is it this Tuesday or next Tuesday? I totally get it. The anxiety is kicking in. But next Tuesday, we going to do this at the Mint Karaoke Lounge. Comedy takeover. And we need to capitalize on this because it being a karaoke joint, they only share so much time with anything other than karaoke. So the fact that they're allowing us to do comedy, let's freaking rock this comedy so that they can like laugh their way into karaoke afterwards.
There you go. And so, free show, tickets?
Free show. Just show up. So Tuesday, April 30th, doors open at 6, karaoke up until 7 p.m. The show starts. Headliner is Howard Stone, and Paul Brumbaugh will be there. Sean Nichols, Manny Cabrera, Robin Brennan, Trish Pandya.
Oh, you're having Trish on your show. She's on
Yes.
my show too. Isn't
lo-
she great?
Yes,
I love Trish.
I enjoy Trish. And Ashley Tomajan will be hosting, and I believe I've mentioned all of the names. I'm very new at like this whole production of comedy at this joint. Yes. So just come support the local comedians. Hopefully we can make it that much better. So there's a demand. I definitely will have May lineup, and I know my headliner will be Pam Benjamin. So I'm
Yay.
excited to see her come back from Greece and do a little Mint karaoke set and karaoke afterwards. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. You, Paul?
No, I think that's it. I look forward to that show, which you just plugged. You can check out everything I do on all social media at Paul Brumbaugh on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Check out what we do here at the studios at Edge Online or edgestudiosonline.com. And I think that's it. I had a blast being here.
All right. So my life is content, not my life is content.
Yeah, because not to be confused with my life is content. Yeah.
It's like this whole time they thought I was happy. It's like, no, it's content.
Are you trying to put your?
I'm
you're
happy. I'm so happy.
Yeah, are you
can
trying to do
also-
like the?
You can find me on Instagram at jennyroberts.comedy, and I am also so happy.
There you go.
We're happy.
Did you know if you posture, it starts to be effective? So power poses and all that, taking poses of power, that's establishing power. Granted, you look kind of crazy, but more
You'll fit
powerful.
right in San Francisco. All right, we're at that point, guys.
Thank you
Cool.
so much.
Thanks, everyone. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
Yes, thank you so much, Jenny, for joining me and sharing your stories, because I asked like wild questions and you were just more than willing to participate. I'm
Oh my
so
God,
happy
it was
for
so
that.
much
Thank
fun.
you.
I had a blast. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul, for engineering this.
You're welcome.
you, Paul.
Thank you for being here, ladies.
Oh, and happy
Thank
belated
you for
birthday.
being the person in the room who's done the most drugs, Paul.
Yes. All right.
Yes, absolutely. All right, until next week.
Till next week. Bye.